Shout out to all my left laners tapped into the left lane for the left lane mix here on Sirius XM, Shade 45, the Punchline Academy. Guys, make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com at the Inphamus Amadeuz. Guys, I'm having a great time in sunny California. There's blondes on the beach. There's not a cloud in the sky, and the marijuana is flourishing throughout the city, Miss Gadada.
Yes, it's definitely flourishing and definitely good weather out here.
Yeah. So if you're a fan of hip-hop, there was a brand new project that is going to be dropping this Friday by Psycho Les and Be Real called Real Psycho. Guys, welcome to the show. What's up, guys?
Hey, thank you for having us.
Salute.
So the crazy thing is that me and my wife were sitting on my steps 2 weeks ago talking about people that we could have on the show. And we had Onyx recently.
Yeah.
Salute.
So we had Onyx. Shout out to Sticky Fingers. They ran it up with the crazy freestyle. And she said it would be a great idea if we got Be Real on the show. And literally the next day in the morning, Grade A texts me, yo, Psycho Les is in town. They have a new project. And it's funny how the universe works. I read that book, The 48 Laws of Power.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is really happening right now. Because here we are 2
that
weeks
shit
later
into this.
with Be Real on the show, man.
Facts.
It's real.
That shit is real.
Yeah, super real. So guys, so we have a new project coming out. Why now? To collaborate this way and put this project out for the fans.
For us, it was like, why not? You know, we're artists, we're creative people. It's not something that you just turn off unless you get tired of it. You know what I mean? I know some artists that are like, oh man, this shit is like a job and I don't want to do this shit no more. I don't want to travel. I don't want to go to the studio. But for some of us, you know, we still love doing that shit. You know, the competitive nature of hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of us played sports when we grew up. Some street sports, some actual, you know, high school level shit. And that competitive nature stood within us, within the creative shit we got into in terms of hip hop, in terms of writing and you know, making music and whatnot. And I think that shit still stays in our generation. You know, the so-called golden era. A lot of us are very competitive.
Yeah.
And we still feel like we could perform and create at the highest level. So, you know, Leezy, I didn't know he was living here in California for a while. You know what I mean? He was
This guy's low.
He was kind of on the low. And I don't know how we got connected here, but someone was like, "Hey, yo, Leezy's Psycho Leezy's out here. He's in Cali. He lives here." And I'm like, "What? Like, have him come down to the studio. Let's kick it." And we just started kicking it. You know what I mean? And we're always doing something here of some sort. Whether it's filming or recording or creating something, you know what I mean, or DJing and whatnot. And one day we were like, he was like, "Yo, I got some joints." I'm like, "Well, let's check them out." And one song started, and we were like, "Hey, this shit is kind of tight."
Yeah.
And it went from one song to 3 songs to, you know, it became an album. It was just organic as fuck. You know, we were just having a good time here, smoking, talking shit, and
you was knocking them out like banger after banger, like bang, bang. It was like, I was like, yo.
And you know what? For me, it makes it easy when it's coming from somebody like Psycho Les, right? Because he's giving me these crazy off the hook fucking beats and shit like that. And, you know, as rappers, we all got a checklist of motherfuckers we want to work with at some point, you know, and he's one of the guys I wanted to work with. We're Latinos, prevalent in hip-hop. We've had our successes, and, you know, we've never worked together. And not in the so-called prime years, right? But for me, prime years are not. We're still fucking killing it on the level that we're at right now. So we just decided, let's just fucking do it because it felt right. And you see a lot more golden era hip hop artists collaborating now, like Common and Pete Rock. Right? And I believe you're gonna see more of that type of shit happening. But Leezy and I, we started this record like 3-4 years ago or something like that.
Really?
Even a little more.
Probably further back, but because we had crazy schedules popping off at the time. And we still do, you know, Beatnuts out there, Cypress out there, the solo shit and some of the other stuff. We just had a lot of stuff happening in between, and we didn't want to rush it. So we just took our time and, you know, made something that we felt, yeah, this represents us right. We don't want to just put some shit out to put it out. We want to make sure that shit is smacking and it represents both of us.
Yeah.
You know, as a producer, that shit is important.
Of course.
shit gotta sound right.
Yeah.
You gotta. I'm going back to the studio, touching shit up still, and like to the last minute. Fuck it, let's go.
Yeah, you know, you guys are part of two of the most prevalent Latin hip hop groups of all time. I believe Cypress Hill was the first platinum group, right?
Yeah.
And we spoke. You changed the sound with introducing the Spanish lingo over the hip hop beat, well, English, style. So how do we push this forward, right? Because I remember one time being a Latin rapper was taboo, right? And now we're in a different age. It feels like the golden era is still around. Like you said, your best years are ahead of you, right? So how do we promote Latin hip hop in a way where we can categorize? We have more upcoming artists that maybe could achieve plaques and success.
I mean, that's on all these different platforms, including radio stations, terrestrial radio. If they were to get behind some of us, whether, veteran artists or in the middle or new, because there's plenty of artists out there of Latino descent doing some really good hip hop and shit. Just not enough light touches them. You know what I'm saying? But you're seeing them out there going and trying to get it, and that's the good thing. I think you just got to keep pushing forward, whether they're giving you the flowers or opening the doors for you or not. Because I mean, I could say with Cypress and probably for the Beatnuts, we didn't really give a fuck if you were giving us our flowers or not. We were just going.
Yeah.
And if whatever resonated, so be it. And we would keep that momentum as much as we possibly that we could if we were to get it. And a lot of Latino groups followed in that nature. So I think a lot of these young bucks that have more opportunities and more doors open to them because of the technology and the way you put out music now, I think they have a better advantage than we did when we came out, because it was kind of taboo, just like talking about weed was taboo. Now everybody talks about the fucking weed. And now you see more Latino artists getting accepted, and creating their own lane within it. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of keep pushing it. You got to have the music to back it up.
And not give a fuck.
And not give a fuck.
Exactly.
Whether they're giving you your flowers or not.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree. So, what do you guys think, as guys have been rocking since the 90s, right? What do you think terrestrial radio? It's very interesting. Where terrestrial radio lost touch with the culture. Like, when did it just become super commercialized and now we're pushing an agenda that is different from the core principles of hip hop?
Well, speaking towards radio here on the West Coast, because I don't know how it happened on the East or in the South or whatever, but you start having these guys come in that don't know the pulse of the city.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of bringing people in that know and that are from here and know what the people are what's resonating with the people, they go get folks that were successful from other regions and try to implant them here. And then they're playing all kinds of shit from maybe their region over here, and they lost touch with some. I mean, you're gonna get some folks to fuck with it because it's music, it's free music, and if it's catchy enough, cool. But you lose the culture when you lose the pulse of where you're at. And that's when you see, radio stations, urban radio stations that were at number 2 and 3 drop to 40. Because the people now that they're trying to outreach to are very young, and they're on playlists where it's unedited and no commercials, and whoever the people that are actually representing the station as in terms of the DJs and the hosts of the shows or whatnot is just not resonating the same way, because they're gearing their music towards people that ain't really interested in listening to it there.
Correct.
And the people that are old enough, right, and would listen, they've alienated them by not playing any of the shit they would listen to.
Yeah.
So, and this is happening in every city, and that's why you see a lot of the urban stations that represent hip hop, where hip hop lives, or whatever the fuck it is, whatever the slogan or phrase is, you see them dropping, and other stations are far above them.
Yeah.
And it's partially that they got people that in these specific regions that just don't know what is catching fire within the city, and who they should support and how they should run it. They lost touch a long time ago here.
Yeah, they lost touch of the pulse. So I during COVID, I was actually researching this, like trying to figure out, okay, why does radio program this way? Like, I have the benefit of being at Sirius XM, so I can play whatever the fuck I want. Like,
Exactly.
we're gonna leave here, we're gonna go to Sirius, we're gonna play all the 90s shit, whatever we want. But so the people that own cars in America, right? They're between the ages of 43 and 55, right? So you have to push music to your audience. If you're taking a younger demographic and playing them on terrestrial radio, they're going to tune the fuck out.
Right.
And this is the reason why they won't listen to, let's say, the new Psycho Les joint, but they'll go back to Watch Out now and put it on repeat. So let's, as a producer, like, how do we change this sonically? Do you think there's a way that we can re-engage that audience to make them feel like this is a record that, even though it's new, but it feels like that 90s style, maybe even the early 2000s?
Yeah, I mean, to me, man, like, it's all about the ear and what the ear hears and hitting them with, seeing what they're working with and try to incorporate it into a 90s. Not no boom bap, some like even futuristic, more future, you know, like. So yeah, keeping an ear to the sound and knowing what's going on and just coming with your thing, you know.
And I also think it's playlists, right?
Agreed.
You know, some of our era of artists, we look past those playlists and we're like, you know, just doing it traditional as we normally do. Let's put this record out, however it lands, it lands. But you got to be in those popular playlists,
Correct, yeah.
you know, for it to actually get run, because that's really where the kids, the young folks that you want to tap into are listening at. You know what I mean? And I could say this, right? Probably for the Beatnuts and any of the Golden Era groups right now, you see a lot of younger folks at the shows, right? And it trips you out because you expect to see people maybe your age and just a little bit younger, but like we're seeing a lot of younger folks at the shows because they're going to the playlist, right? And within that, they're looking at Golden Era groups and like going into their playlists and hearing the music and the dynamics and the different sort of sound and production, and they're fucking with it. And as we've been doing shows in the last 2-3 years, you know, we're seeing these young folks at the show knowing the words, knowing the lyrics, and rocking with it. And it's not something you expect, right? When you're an artist that, you know, 20, 30 years down the line, that you're going to have your core group of people, but now you got younger folks that the music got passed down to. But some of them that don't get it passed down to them, like let's just say from father to son or older brother to younger brother or whatever, or sister, some of them are doing their own research and going to these platforms and searching for these groups and learning about them. And that's the cool part. So I think it's, instead of focusing on radio mix shows or any shit like that, which is cool if you get it, you got to focus on these playlists.
Correct.
I think.
Yeah, man. Free jewelry here on the Punchline Academy. This is Shade 45 Sirius XM. I'm the Inphamus Amadeuz. Guys, what do you want to hear off this project?
What you want here?
I mean, hit them with that. You might know us.
Okay. All right, let's play this here. Make sure you're in the left lane. Sirius XM Shade 45. Brand new heat by Psycho Les and Be Real. Dropping now.